Stop talking about comic books or I'll kill you. I don't care if the Hulk could defeat the man.
Hey there, comic fam. Bullseye Bob here. Welcome to another episode of Having Comics with My Coffee on the Everything Comics Network channel, whatever you want to call it, YouTube channel. And here we are, the last episode of the year. And thank you for tuning in, guys. And hey, you know, it's been an amazing year so far this year. Got a lot in store for 2020, and I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, I'm here at 6:30 in the morning here in Portland, Oregon, ready to do another great show. A lot of content coming your way. We're going to talk about comic books today. We're going to drink some great coffee, and I'll talk about the stuff that I picked up this week and maybe a little bit about what we're going to be doing next year. But really appreciate you guys tuning in. Of course, I'm coming to you live and in living color from the Refuge Coffee House. That's at 9217 Southeast Foster Road here in Portland. And hey, if you're ever in town, come look them up. It's a great coffee shop to hang out, talk about comic books, talk about whatever. But come look them up. It's great, family owned. And yeah, if you're gonna come, let me know. I'll come down and meet you, and we'll hang out. But again, 9217 Southeast Foster Road, the Refuge Coffee House, the official coffee house of Everything Comics. There you go, folks. And but anyway, again, thanks for tuning in. I do have a couple of announcements before we get into our comic books today. And the first announcement is I passed 200 subscribers. Wow, that was really quick. First, I just want to say thank you guys. Of course, you know, none of this would be possible, you know, without your guys' support. You know, I dipped my toe in the water to see, you know, if I could do this, and the support from you guys has been overwhelming. And I just thank you guys so much for tuning in. And hey, stick with me and let's see what 2020 holds. We got a lot of comic book stuff coming up. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you very much for tuning into the channel and for being a subscriber. The next announcement is, like I've said before, I'm on another show. That's right, I am on Comics with Bueller. He has a show called The New Coffee Show. This is where we get together. We also do the same thing. We drink coffee. Of course, coffee from there comes from our Mocha Express. We got a conglomerate of coffee houses here in Portland. They're all great. But yeah, we get together, talk about comics, and one of the great things about the show is Bueller has a preview video that he comes out with every week on Wednesdays. You can find all of the new comic books that are coming out the next week on that show. I would encourage you to go watch that show so you can find out what's coming out. Let your comic shop know what it is that you want. But what he does in that video, he'll pose a question, and then when him and I get together on the New Coffee Show, we talk about that question. And so far, it's been such a fun show. Last week's question was, are you a Rob Liefeld fan? Yes or no? What a fun show. We had so much fun talking about that subject. The responses that we got from people, it was a huge response, like over 100 comments on that subject. And it was a lot of fun. This week's question is a great one. Are comic books too expensive? I know everybody has an opinion on that. Tune into that show. Come see us. Come hang out. It's so much fun. We get into an in-depth discussion, and I'm really having a lot of fun with that. Again, that's on Comics with Bueller. You can find the link to that down in the description on this video. But yeah, check it out, guys. And then the next announcement is, hey, last night, you know, speaking about being on Comics with Bueller, on the same channel, we had a roundtable discussion from some of the local Portlanders who have YouTube channels based on comic books. We had Comics with Bueller, we had Everything Comics, we had Sam's Tangled Web, and we had Sleepy Reader 666. I'm telling you, all four of us got together and we went for 3 full hours just talking about comic books. So much fun. Check it out, guys. I mean, you can watch the whole video for 3 hours. It's just a lot of fun, or you can skim to maybe some of the different questions that we had. But it was just a lot of fun. We're planning on doing that more often and maybe hosting it on the different channels. I think the next time I'm going to host it on my channel, And but it was just so much fun just to be able to get together with those guys. I mean, that's what we do anyway. We get together, we can go for 3-4 hours just talking about comic books. And so anyway, tune in. It was a lot of fun, and can't wait to do that going forward. And the next announcement I have been telling you guys about this is the Image Comics corporate officer signing. Yes, that's right, folks. All the executives from Image Comics are gathered here, all at the same time. Of course, Image Comics is based here in Portland, but it's very rare that all of the execs come together. And they're going to be here on January 11th, and they're going to have a signing, folks, at I Like Comics in Vancouver. This will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., January 11th. I Like Comics. And you can't beat this. You got Jim Valentino, you got Mark Silvestri, you got Robert Kirkman, and then the great Todd McFarlane is going to be there. This is going to be a huge event. Don't miss it. If you're coming in from out of state and you're a subscriber to the channel, or my channel, or Bueller's channel, or Sam's channel, Sleepy's channel, let us know you're coming out. We'd love to see you, love to meet you, and especially when we're there at the signing, because we're all going to be there. And anyway, guys, that's our announcements. Oh, wait, one more. Today, I don't know if this will come out by the time you guys see this, but today we have another artist in town at Things from Another World in Milwaukee, Portland. David Mack's going to be there, guys. I mean, I love David Mack. When I first came back into comics and started going back through Daredevil, I talked about Daredevil last week. I started going back through Brian Michael Bendis' run. Found this amazing story called Vision Quest by David Mack. It was written by him. It was all the art was done by him, and it was a rare treat. It blew me away how amazing these comic books were. They're 5 issues. It's a side story. It hardly even gets into Daredevil at all. This is about the character Echo. And it is a piece of art, and I loved it. It made me so hopeful for what comic books could be. It just didn't stay in the normal medium. It went out of the boundaries of it, and I loved it. And so he's going to be here, right here in Portland. I did meet him a couple years ago at Rose City Comic Con. Got a bunch of stuff signed by him. But today, I'm going to get this bad boy personalized. This is my favorite cover that he's ever done, and this is the first part of the Vision Quest storyline. If you haven't read this storyline, get it, check it out. It's still very gettable, at your local comic shop, and it's an incredible story, very underrated. And so anyway, he's going to be here today in Portland today, folks. Can't wait. That's going to be awesome. A lot of great stuff going on out here. So without further ado, we're going to get into our books. This was a really light week. I mean, there was hardly any comic books that came out this week. The week before was so full of great comic books that came out. There was just way too much to be able to review on the last show. And so if you remember, all I did was review the Black Label comic books that I picked up that week, and saved a bunch of them to go ahead and review this week, just because I knew this week was going to be so light. So, I mean, it's going to probably be a quicker show. But that's okay. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. But let's get into our books. Yes. All right. So the first book is we got Venom, number 21. This starts the Venom Island storyline that we've all been hearing about. That's going to come out. Of course, the story is written by Donny Cates, and the artwork on the inside of the book is done by Mark Bagley. He started on the book. Love Mark Bagley's artwork. And then I had to get the variant cover. Look at that cover, folks, by Clayton Crane. I just love his artwork, and this is awesome stuff. So, this basically follows the Absolute Carnage storyline. And, if you haven't read that, I'm just going to give a little spoiler here how it ends. Basically, Eddie Brock is faced with a choice. Either allow his son, Dylan, to die, or kill Carnage and absorb Carnage into himself. But if he does that, that's going to allow Null, the king of the symbiotes, to come to Earth, and he will destroy Earth. So he made a choice, let his son die or let the earth die. And he chose his son, folks. And so here we are in the aftermath of that, and he's dealing with his choice. Dylan is, still, I don't want to say he's estranged from him, but he really doesn't want to talk to his dad, which is kind of weird because the dude just saved his life. But bottom line is he has Carnage inside of him, and he can start to hear Carnage's voice throughout this. So, he's dealing with the aftermath, the emotion of all this, and lo and behold, here is the voice of Carnage, and actually takes him over in a couple of spots. And so he knows that Null is on the way. He has no idea when he's going to get here, but he knows it's going to be really bad. And so before that all comes down and happens, he has to figure out how to get rid of Carnage. And so he's taken himself to what we know as Venom Island, and to basically isolate himself to figure out a way how to get rid of Carnage for good outside of him. And so that's kind of setting up the story for what it's going to be going forward. I love the artwork inside of this. The story, there really wasn't that much that happened, but it was Donny Cates, so it is good writing. I did enjoy it. So for those two reasons, I'm going to say 2 sticks up. I really like this one. Check it out, folks. All right, and so the next book I have, I don't actually have the physical copy of it because I let my buddy Bueller borrow it, and that is Killlock. Killlock by IDW. It's the first issue of I think it's going to be a mini-series. I'm not positive about that. I'm just thinking I didn't do my research on that, but that's okay. So yeah, it's the first part of a mini-series. It's written and drawn by Livio Romandelli. I don't know if you know that name, but he's been doing a lot of the Transformer stuff for IDW. So he loves doing robots, folks. And that's evident inside of this book because that's what it's about. It's about 4 robots. And what the premise of the story is that all 4 of these robots have basically been convicted of heinous crimes. And so as a punishment, they've been banished off the world with this Killlock programming. And what that means is that all 4 of them are tied together. So if one of them dies, they all die. And from what it sounds like, the reason why they do this is because, if somebody was to commit a heinous crime and they basically banished them, that person could hide in society and you'd never know they were there. But when you have 4 of them tied together and they have to be with each other and they have to kind of keep each other alive, it's much harder to hide. And so they get banished to this planet where there's scavengers and things like that. And you find out that one of them is a soldier, one of them is an addict, another one's a murderer, and then they have a child with them. And so 4 different distinct robot personalities. I dug the soldier. The soldier was awesome. There's some great action inside of the book with him. Can't wait to hear his backstory. And that's really where I'm at with this. They didn't really give a lot of backstory on any of these characters. They just kind of set the premise up. And I think it was very well done. I like the artwork. I like the story. I like where they're going with it. I know some people get turned off when it's just robots, but I didn't have a problem with this. I liked it a lot, and I would probably say this was my pick of the week because there's only 2 comic books from this week that I'm reviewing, and I would give it a little cut above the Venom story only because nothing's really going on in that story. So, but yeah, Killlock by IDW. It's their first issue. Pick it up. Tell me what you think about that one because I'd be really curious. And so that's all our books for this week. These are the ones that came out just actually the day after Christmas because Christmas Day all comic books were closed. Comic book stores were closed. And so those are the only ones I picked up. I know there were others. I know there was a Doctor Strange book. I wasn't interested in it. I know Incoming came out. I wasn't interested in it. And so I didn't get those books. Not that I don't like Doctor Strange, I just don't like the premise of the story that they're using for this particular run, where they give him his hands back. It didn't appeal to me, so I didn't pick it up. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go through the highlighted books from last week that I read and kind of give you just my sticks, sticks up, sticks down, sticks to the side, whatever, hand jive, whatever it is. But I'll give you what I think about each of these books. And so, by the way, I'm drinking a cold brew today with some vanilla sweetener. I know it's kind of cold outside, but I felt needed something a little stronger. So I got myself a cold brew. I'll probably get myself a nice pour over after this, but it's really good, folks. So next on the list, we have this from last week. We have Scream, Curse of Carnage, number 2. This is written by Clay McCloy Chapman, and also there's an art duo of both Chapman and Mooneyhand. I like the artwork in this. I do like where the story is going. I like this new character who is basically absorbed the Scream symbiote, and how in the aftermath of the Absolute Carnage storyline, there are symbiotes that are pulling up the dead people that came out of that whole storyline, and that's what they're using as a vehicle to drive her. Anyway, like the artwork, like the story, give this 2 sticks up. Next on the list, we have Flash Forward, number 4 from DC Comics, folks. I've really been digging this run. I love the artwork in this. The artwork is so, I mean, when you talk about the different types of comic art that are out there, this is the type of comic art that I like. That really, really nice looking, kind of the same vein as Jim Lee and maybe Dale Keown, and that busier, crisp artwork. I don't like a lot of the new artwork that's coming out where it's just line work and coloring. I think it's very lazy, and I don't think it's good for comic books, but I love this type of stuff, folks. And so this one is written by Scott Lobdell. Never heard of him before, but he's been doing really well in this book. And then of course the art is by Brett Booth. Love this stuff inside here. So for that reason, 2 sticks up, folks. 2 sticks up. I am excited to see where they go with this. I really, as my prediction, I really think that they're setting up Wally West to be the savior of the next crisis. I really do. And so that's where we're going with this. And then the next one I have is also a DC book, but a Black Label book. This is one of the Black Label books that I didn't review last week because I hadn't read it yet. This is Low Woods, the Black Label Hill House imprint, written by Carmen Maria Machado and art by Danny Strips. And unfortunately, this one didn't do anything for me. I didn't like the tone. I didn't like, there's a creature in the forest. It didn't feel horror to me. The main characters, I mean, it just was kind of blasé, and I really didn't enjoy the artwork. And so for that reason, I give it 2 sticks down. And folks, when I give something 2 sticks down, I really hate doing that because I don't want anybody to think that I'm putting somebody's hard work down. I know a lot of these creators put a lot of work into this stuff, and to me, there's a piece of it that's all good, and I don't want to put somebody's work down. When I give that opinion, I'm just saying it didn't work for me. In this particular case, I didn't enjoy the artwork. That's a subjective thing, and the story didn't grab me. Also a subjective thing, and so that's my personal opinion, but in no way am I slamming anybody's work. I think all these guys worked very hard, and I'm very appreciative of all of the comic artists out there. So anyway, I'm just letting you know what my take is on it, and what do you think? All right, and then we got book number 6, which was Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider, number 1. This, of course, is written also by Donny Cates, art by Jeff Shaw, and I got to tell you, I picked this up because I keep hoping that this storyline will grab me. I know that they've done Cosmic Ghost Rider before. I am not a fan of the whole Frank Castle dies and becomes Ghost Rider as an old man. I think it's, I don't know. To me, it's a trite idea, but I get it. There are some people out there who are fans. I have never traditionally been a huge Ghost Rider fan. I remember the culture that came out of, and it was something. Anyway, that's my opinion. I've never been a fan of Ghost Rider, and then melding Frank Castle with him just doesn't make sense to me. The artwork is really good in this. Donny Cates wrote it, so I mean there is some good things in there, but because of the character, again, personal opinion, it just didn't grab me, and I was hoping that it would. I do think that, like everything else that Donny Cates is writing, that this will tie into the whole Null storyline, because that seems to be the next major event that they're setting up. And but you know, I got to tell you, the thing that excited me most about this comic book wasn't the actual story. There's a variant cover by Clayton Crane that is amazing. I had to special order that. That should be coming this week, and I'm excited about that. But because of that, I would give this, because the artwork and the writing was, you know, it was okay. It just didn't grab me. I'd give it 1 stick up, 1 stick down. But again, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. What did you think about it? Next is book 7. We have Daredevil number 15. Now, you know I'm a huge Daredevil fan, and I've been loving the Chip Zdarsky run, and this is a great book. I can't think of his name. I think it's Totino is the one that's been doing the covers on these. I've been really digging these new Daredevil covers. And then this run by Zdarsky has just been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. It really grabbed a hold of me. I love the way he's been writing Kingpin. Kingpin is so much more compelling to me than he ever used to be, and I'm a Kingpin fan. And so in this book, you know, we have again the training of Matt by Elektra. You know, him dealing with all of this stuff and him letting Daredevil go. And in his training, combat-wise, Elektra finally says at the end of this, "Can you feel it? You're back." And so we'll see if he actually does finally step into being Daredevil again. That's, you know, been doing well, but the Kingpin stuff inside of this is awesome. Check this one out, folks. This one's definitely 2 sticks up. Next one, we have the Suicide Squad number 1 by DC Comics. Of course, this one is written by Tom Taylor and art by Bruno Redondo. I like the artwork inside of this. I thought it was a lot of fun. And you know, I love Tom Taylor's writing. I just read an article about him last night where, you know, he's had a pretty tough job coming into comics. They've given him all this kind of tough work, kind of weird stuff, and then he's refused to make it subpar. He's made everything he's done so far interesting and good. And so I like this new take on Suicide Squad. It's kind of different than all the rest of the stuff that I've read in recent years. I'll agree with Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. This is the first Suicide book I've read in a long time where Harley Quinn wasn't like the focal point of it, which I thought was refreshing. There's a new team that they battle up against. There's deaths on both sides, and then they kind of meld both teams, and that's going to be your new Suicide Squad. And spoiler, Amanda Waller's not going to be leading these guys anymore. There's a new guy in charge. Great stuff. Anyway, artwork great, writing great. I give this one 2 sticks up. I think I will be picking up issue 2 of this. We'll see where it goes. Next one, we have another independent by Boom Comics, who's been killing it this year. We have the Folklords. This one, I like the artwork. I think it was totally fitting for the story. I liked issue number 1, and issue number 2 was just as fun. And so I definitely give this 2 sticks up. And I would say that if you wanted to see a fuller review of this, you can go check out on Comics with Bueller. Both him and I do a full review of this, and I'll leave a link down in the description for this particular review. But I would pick this one up, folks. This has been a fun read so far, and again, Boom has just been killing it. And then the last one on the list, book number 10, we have Skulldigger, Skeleton Boy. And this is, of course, by our local Dark Horse Comics. This is written by Jeff Lemire and art by Tonsi Zonchik. I think that's how you pronounce his name or her name. But this is from the Black Hammer world that Jeff Lemire has created. And, it was okay for a first book. Didn't really grab a hold of me all that much. Artwork it's not, my favorite. It was good for the tone of the story. And it kind of sets up, where they're going with it. But, it was an okay read. How about that? It didn't grab a hold of me like I was hoping that it would, like some of the other Black Hammer stuff did. It was just kind of, there wasn't any highs and lows inside of it. But we'll see where they go with it. I mean, maybe this is something that's going to expand that world in a great way. Who knows? I love Black Hammer, so we'll see where they go with it. But this one I give 1 stick up, 1 stick down. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are our comics for this week. And of course, like I said, it was a very light week, so we ended up, reviewing a bunch from the week before. That's okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hey, I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for 2019. There's been so many surprises this year when it comes to this show and comic book collecting for me. Of course, I think the biggest gift of all has been meeting Bueller and Sam and Damien, local Portlanders that have been doing, they have their own YouTube shows, and then meeting all of you. It's been amazing to get connected with the comic book community that's on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and I've really been enjoying just getting to know some of you guys, and so that has been just an absolute joy. Next week is going to be hard because there is no show next week, so that's my last announcement. There's no show next week. I'm taking that weekend off. I'm spending it with family, but I will be back on January 11th. It's going to be an awesome show because that's the morning of the corporate signing. So we're going to be extra excited. Maybe I'll have a special guest on that day. I don't know. But tune in, folks. January 11th. I'm sure I'll probably be posting something in between now and then. And, we didn't have a question of the week this week. That's okay. But guys, leave a question in the comments. I love interacting with you, and you guys can ask anything. Ask something about my personal life. Ask my opinion on something. Ask me about comics history. Ask me about characters that I like. Anything goes. And I'll always pick a question and I'll answer it here on the channel, and we can get to know each other. I've really been enjoying a lot of the comments that have been left. Some of you have actually gone out and bought stuff based upon some of the reviews that I've done. Man, that really fills my heart because that's what this channel is all about. And so thank you so much for the response. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And again, as always, support your local comic shop, and Excelsior, folks.